The AIHL is Australia's top hockey league. It was founded in the year 2000 and is a non-professional hockey league, where the locals don't get any salary at all and the import players are only paid their expenses. Their season goes from April to August, which is great for players looking for an off-season league. Nevertheless, it makes it hard to coordinate between the European leagues and the Australian league, because the Australian league goes to the end of August and the training camps in Europe usually start before that. Players usually go there to live the Australian experience and experience this great lifestyle they have there. That's why we also see some ex-NHLers play in this league. Nevertheless, there's not a lot of money and not many imports. That's also why the hockey level is not very high. Our next interview is with Matt Clemmy. Matt made it to the top of the hockey levels, playing multiple games in the NHL. After that stint in the NHL, he decided to play also in Europe and played in various hockey leagues across Europe. Recently, he also tried out the Australian League, and that's why we called him today, as it will be very interesting to listen to his experiences in Australia and how he can compare that to North America or Europe. Thanks, Matt, for being here today.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so our first question will be, can you explain your hockey career for us, please?
It's been, I don't know if we have enough time, but I'll keep it short. I played 2 years at Junior B, 4 years of Junior A, and then from there I went and played Division I college for 4 years. And then the last 12 years I've been playing professionally, East Coast American Hockey League in the NHL. And then in Europe, I played DEL for a couple seasons, a little bit in the EBEL, Slovakia, the British League, and Alps, and also Australia.
Yeah, so how did you reach Australia? Was it through friends or agents, and did you always want to just play there? How did that work?
Yeah, the AIHL, their season's the opposite of most seasons, I guess, compared to the North American or in Europe. Their season runs from May until August. So I knew towards the end of my career, I always wanted to play in Australia, and that's kind of what I wanted to kind of end my career on, is playing in Australia. So I contacted a few teams. The Canberra Brave got back to me right away, and we made arrangements, and we made it happen, and that's kind of how I ended up in Canberra.
Oh, so basically you contacted the teams yourself, right?
No, it's kind of a semi-professional league, so a lot of times teams have a general manager, and they usually just throw out a mass email to a lot of guys that are playing Canadian University, the Southern Professional Hockey League, East Coast hockey guys, and just players in various leagues across Europe. And they just hope guys kind of get back to them, because, I mean, they don't pay the players a salary, but they pay your expenses. But a lot of times, a lot of teams will line you up with a job where you make enough money to kind of break even.
And how is the league and the team organized? Is it pretty professional or more semi-professional?
It's every organization's different. Some do it pretty professionally, and there's other teams that are kind of lacking because they don't have the financial backing or support. Because the league is fairly new. They've been around for 20 years. I believe there's 8 teams right now. So it's still kind of in that growing stage. I was with the Canberra Brave, and it was definitely a professionally ran organization. The facilities weren't really, I guess, pro, but they're in the works of developing and building a new arena. So they're not quite there yet with the facility, but everything else was good enough compared to most, I guess, other European leagues. And from the hockey standpoint, it's a mixed bag. There's not a whole lot of depth with Australian guys. There's some good Australian players. There's just not enough of them. So I think based off of that, the teams that do well and are successful are the ones that have the good Aussie talent, and then plus they bring in a couple good imports.
And how would you describe the lifestyle in Australia?
Man, it's good. It's good living in Australia, and that's the big selling point. Is they want guys to go there that want to, that are looking to enjoy themselves, enjoy Australia, play some hockey, and help the game and help the brand, I guess, grow. And we took full advantage of it. I mean, we only practiced twice a week. One of those times was an optional skate, and then every weekend usually you had 2 games, and you played against the same team both nights. So the travel wasn't that bad. There was only 28 games in the season, 8 teams, so you played each team 4 times, basically a home and away. So it was cool where we're able to travel across Australia playing games, and we'd always get a night out. Whatever city we were in, we always flew back the next day. So it was a cool experience from that, from being able to travel, play some hockey, and kind of get our expenses covered.
Okay, so you went to Australia more for a life experience, right? It was not just about the hockey.
Yeah, the hockey's growing, the hockey's getting better, but it's definitely a place you want to go where you're looking to have fun, a good time, but still play some competitive hockey. I mean, when game time comes around, everybody's going hard. I mean, everybody has pride. So I mean, the games aren't easy, but from the same point, I mean, you're not getting paid to play. So it's the same point where you want to enjoy yourself away from the rink.
So did you or the other players also have jobs while they played, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's comparable to senior hockey in Canada, where guys have normal jobs, and then you're playing for kind of more for the fun of it, but you still have pride, so you're still playing hard and you still want to win for the fans.
And was it hard for import players to find a job?
Man, I think it's gonna change now with the coronavirus. But at the time, I mean, some guys had a tough time getting something that they really wanted, but there's labor jobs, or you work at a coffee house, work at a bar or restaurants. There's kind of those service or labor jobs that are available. So guys, I mean, and the minimum wage in Australia, I believe, is like $25, $26 an hour. So I mean, you're making enough money off your service or labor job to make it work.
So at least in Australia, they speak the same language as in North America, and the culture must be very similar, right? And also, did the team help you organize the apartment, the car, and so on?
Yeah, it's good. Teams they'll hook you up with a place to live, apartments, and a lot of times they'll give you a vehicle to drive. So everything's kind of set up for you when you're going there. They pick you up from the airport, they cover your flights, and yeah, they take care of you. I mean, you go in there, and it's comparable to junior, where everything's kind of taken care of. And then a lot of times they'll hook you up with a job where you can make enough money where you're not spending your savings to make it work.
Do you have an advice for players looking to go to Australia?
Man, it's such a cool experience. It's to be able to go to Australia and to live in Australia, to really experience the culture. It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I recommend. I think if anybody can make it work, and if you have enough, I guess, time and enough financial means to be able to afford it, it's one of those things that's tough to pass up, because you're living in Australia, you're traveling around Australia, you're playing with a bunch of good dudes, so you always have guys to hang out with and do things with, and you really experience the culture. And when I was in Canberra, we definitely made the most of it. I lived with 3 other guys, so essentially going back to that college feel, where we're grilling out, we're going out for drinks. We're going for hikes, we're going to the ocean. So it's one of those things. Looking back on it, I have no regrets. I'm going for the season.
Yeah, that was it from our part. Thanks, Matt, for being here today.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me, man.